On this Shabbat of LGBTQ plus Pride Weekend, we welcome the Shabbat into our midst. On this night, we express the love in our hearts for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people everywhere. We celebrate that we were all created in the divine image. We pray on this Shabbat that all people will be able to escape oppression and taste the freedom of the promised land.
And we say together, as we light our Shabbat candles, let there glow light our way from the closet that still hold us in darkness. Let the divine presence lead us to the pillar of snow like day, and the pillar of fire by night, through any wilderness or the closet quality. May our prayers this Shabbat inspire each of us to holiness and holiness. And I would ask you to stand, please. First, please be seated. So the first reading is a poem written by Berta Freistadt from Beit Klal Israel. For those who don't know Beit Klal Israel, it was a community created in the late 80s by Rabbi Sheila Schulman, and that was not the first LGBT community in London, but a very strong ethos community, and Berta Freistadt was a liturgist as well.
Wait. It is waiting and stillness that is the heart of the matter. Waiting on the edge of sound, waiting forever for a voice, for the movement that is no parlour trick, for the air to part, the stillness to erupt into danger, excitement, that races to the concealed heart, that beats it faster than love or sex, forever waiting. It is waiting and stillness, listening through the boredom, listening through the noise, through the thought, distraction, diversion, straining to hear beyond number. It is waiting and stillness. Some try counting, some discipline, some pain, some are reined like horses, some take the stillness to them, like a lake, and wait knowing some may achieve silence. Wait. We must wait. The door opens gradually. The Sabbath bride walks slow, weighing heavy with joy.
Thank you.
Oh
page 76. Shalom Aleichem, 76. Tonight is a bit of a tribute to Debbie Friedman, and Rebekkah will talk to you a bit later about Debbie Friedman, who was very instrumental in the LGBTQ community and also as a musician, and loads of her music is actually used today in many settings in our services. So we continue now on page 89. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat.
work moves me to song. How great are your works, eternal God. How very deep are your thoughts. The righteous shall flourish like a palm. Sadi katama yifrach yifrach, sadi katama yifrach, sadi katama yifrach yifrach, sadi katama yifrach. Keres bavanon yiske, keres bavanon yiske, keres bavanon yiske yiske. Turn now to page 91.
Mightier than the breaking seas, you stand supreme on high, sure of the proof of your power, O God, and holiness adorns your house forever. Lecha on page 91.
ובצולה תוכנו מעם סגולה אוי קלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת מקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת מקבלה.
Wait a second. Can you come to read the next? No. Yes. So the next text is an extract from "Hold Your Own" by Kay Tempest. If you don't know Kay Tempest, they are an amazing poet, British poet, really worth discovering. Sorry. Come on, she's 30 years old, right? 45. I'd never say that.
Hold your own. When everything is fluid, nothing can be known with any certainty. Hold your own. Hold it till you feel it there, as dark and dense and wet as earth, as vast and bright and sweet as air, when all there is knowing that you feel what you are feeling. Hold your own. Ask your hands to know the things they hold. Feel each decision that you make. Make it, hold your own. Hold your lovers, hold their hands, hold their face in your palms like a prayer. Hold them all night. Feel them, hold back. Don't hold back. Hold your own. Every pain, every grievance, every stab of shame, every day spent with a demon in your brain giving chase, hold it. Breathe deep on the freezing beach. Taste the salt of friendship. Notice the movement of a stranger. Hold your own and let it be catching.
Page 92, please stand. We praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness from light. You make day pass, and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the host of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
Party. אבותיך לעולם ועד. כי אלוהינו ועורך ימינו ובהם מדי יומם ולילה, מדי יומם ולילה. אל תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
On the bottom of page 2 in the handout, and Sarah will read us another meditation for tonight.
Michamocha for Friday night. Our people came out of Egypt, a mixed multitude, the spray of dividing water sparkling diamonds all around them. We stood together at Sinai, all of us, future, present, past, amid the rumble of thunder and the crack of bright lightning, to enter into the covenant with the one who loves us, in whose shining image we are all created, over and over again. We have wandered bleak landscapes, built flimsy tents of skin, and then houses of stone. We have planted orchards and vineyards, seen 2 temples rise and then go down in the surging flames, forcing us into exile. We have loved and lost, grieved and danced, transgressed and celebrated, hidden, suffered, thrived. And we gather this day in the community of our people, a mixed multitude, and we sing out, Shema Israel. We stand together, all of us, descendants of the first human created on the 6th day, and our myriad parents down through the generations, too numerous to name. We stand together, link arms and pray. We bless you, God of the universe, who sanctified us with commandments to love ourselves and one another in all our varied ways, and blesses us with a diamond bright radiance that still ripples from you, from our first spoken word, your first spoken word of creation.
We stand for the Shema on page 94. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ושבתך בקומך, וקשרת מאוד על ידך, והיו לטפחות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please be seated. All this we hold to be true and sure, you alone, eternal one, are our God, and we are Israeli people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael, we praise you, O God, the Redeemer of Israel, on page 96.
What's that, please? Standing up.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are guardian deliverer, the gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God. May your shelter and peace descend on us, all who dwell on earth. And we stand for the Amidah on page 97.
La 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 גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר הסתרות באימהות ומביא כולה לפני פניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומשיר ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור אדוני מחיי מתים התורה והושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מסריח השמש ומוריד הטל מחכה חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא עולים ומציל אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לו מלך ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, ההי הקדוש. Please be seated. And we read together the next prayer. We thank you, O God, for this Sabbath day, which calls us to a closer communion with you. Though you are near to us at all times, you reveal your presence most clearly when we direct our thoughts towards you in worship and meditation. In you, O God, our humanity is exalted. You are our life. From you come its greatness, its power, its beauty. Establish in us, we humbly pray, a devotion to you that shall be firm in all the circumstances of life. May this service in you in our hearts, the sense of your presence, and bring us peace.
Choir, would you like to?
Say what I
Our God and God of ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight, sanctify us by your commandments, and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. The power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We praise you, O God, source of goodness, to whom our thanks are due.
Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amacha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amacha Tasim
Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom.
Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom.
V'tov levarek et amcha Yisrael.
praise you, God, the source of peace. And we take now a few moments of private prayer and meditation. Thank you, Rebekkah. Thank you, the choir, for the music tonight. And Shabbat Shalom to you all. You know that every year the LGBTQ community gathers to mark Pride Month, which is usually June or July, I don't remember. June. It's June, okay. And of course, in the Jewish community, we mark this month, maybe not in the Orthodox community, but in the rest of the Jewish world, we mark this month with a Pride Shabbat that gives us the opportunity to look back at the last 40 years or so and to measure the progress that has been made. Who would have thought in the early 1980s that by 2024, the Rebekkah College, the rabbinic school where I studied, Rabbi Janet as well, would have ordained almost 30 rabbis belonging to this community, most of them holding now rabbinic position in mainstream synagogues. But despite this acceptance, I think it would be a huge mistake to believe that things are now settled, right? LGBTQ people are now universally accepted as fully fledged members of humanity. Of course, in our little corner of the world, being gay, lesbian, transgender, it's a non-event. But it is far from being the case everywhere, even in our country, and I'm sure if I discuss with the members of our community who belong to this LGBTQ community that will tell us stories about. I could certainly tell you a few of them, which I won't bother you tonight with. You know, we know that struggling with self-acceptance by young people is still the first cause of suicide amongst teenagers. And there are many, many hate crimes against members of the LGBTQ community committed every year. I'm not even talking about the disparaging comments against us that some people find funny. Speaking of hate crime, I had a meeting with Kingston Interfaith Forum the other day, and we had the police commissioner who came, I can't remember his name now, who said that hate crimes are underreported for two reasons. The first is because people don't really know what a hate crime is. So I said, maybe you need to communicate a bit more about that to let us know what you consider as a hate crime. And he also said there's maybe the shame. The shame, and I found it really interesting because do we really always, when something like this happens, do we brush it off like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to be seen as a gay or as a lesbian or a transgender, so let's just forget about it. So I think we need to report every single hate crime that you are suffering or that you are witnessing, of course. As you know, I'm not an LGBTQ activist. Like some of my colleagues who are very, very strong, they have a strong voice in the movement. And it's not because I don't care or I don't believe in that. Of course I do. It would be completely silly to ignore the challenges that the community I belong to is facing. But I'm not proud of being gay. And I'm not ashamed of being gay either. It's just a fact in my life. Just many other parts of my identity, being Jewish, being overweight, all these things, I can't really do much about. Maybe weight I can. The fact that some are uncomfortable when they discover that I'm gay is actually, I don't care. It's of no relevance to me because it doesn't say anything about me. It says anything about themselves. And I don't know if you've noticed, the most homophobic people I've ever met, they were actually quite interested, but they wouldn't admit this to them. But I get it. I get the sense of pride. I get the sense of pride, especially for those, I never really suffered because of that. And when I realized that I was gay as a kid, well, of course I didn't advertise it because, it was in the 70s. And we didn't really talk about that, but I do remember when I was a teenager in the 80s, we started to talk about that at the French television. There were some programs about that. And my cousin's husband, were watching something. There was, I think, one of the first gay prides in France, and he was mocking the gays. And I said, but that I could actually march with them. And it was a bit, okay. But it's fine. I never really suffered from that. But I get it. I get the fact that we need to have a sense of pride. And it's a bit like it's almost an act of defiance. You have mocked us, you have ridiculed us, you have discriminated against us, and this happened so much in the past. And I could tell you, all the stories I've heard from the older generation, people who are in their 80s, 90s, and people who are no longer with us anymore, talking about how they were in the closet, how painful it was for them. They had to marry, they had to do things to comply, to follow the norm of the society, and lots of suffering. And of course, if you look at the early movies, gay people are always depicted as very feminine, stupid, and object of mockery. And of course, lesbians are invisible because, as long as a woman is married, it's fine. She can do whatever she wants. But we don't talk about lesbianism. We talk about gay men in a patriarchal society because it's a kind of a challenge to the patriarchy. But we're here today, and we're here to stay. We are part of a large tapestry of humankind, and even more, we have been part of humanity since the dawn of time. There's always been gays, lesbians, bisexual and transgenders, always. It's always existed in humankind. The only difference is that now we are visible, I would say, even again. We cannot be ignored, and we refuse to be put back into the closet. If there's something I'm really proud of, and I can tell you this, it's actually you, Careless, who had no issue whatsoever hiring a gay rabbi. It was a non-discussion. Also Careless, who, maybe Philip, you said a few things, he's looking at me. But also a community that opened the space to our LGBT couples and families who can be part of Careless without any, we don't even talk about it. And I think this level of acceptance, we need to recognize it, because in other parts of the world, it's not the case at all. But, there's always a but, sadly, this year Pride Shabbat has been tainted by a controversy, which really, really saddened me. And I'm going to talk to you about that. I wasn't sure, but I think I need to talk to that. So on the 12th of June, Pride in London, the organization that runs the Pride events in the capital, published a statement of support to all those who are marginalized, oppressed, and subject to hate and violence, which is, the political, ethical message of Pride. That means, and I quote the statement, that Pride London stands with all those suffering from the devastating war and genocide in Gaza. But they add all the innocent civilians in both Israel and Palestine who have been subjected to terror and violence. Okay, this word, it's a kind of a no-no. As a consequence of this statement, and especially I think the mention of a genocide in Gaza, Keshet UK, a charity which you know, a leading Jewish LGBTQ charity, and West London Synagogue, who has also a strong record of LGBTQ advocacy, they decided to withdraw from the march on the 29th of June because many of their constituents said, we don't feel safe anymore. We don't feel safe. Of course, you can imagine that Gaza would be part of a demonstration because this is what happens at the moment. Everything is about Gaza. So they decided, after a very challenging year, they decided that this was maybe a bit too much, and they will actually organize picnics for Jews, LGBT Jews, in some parks. So I've been thinking a lot about that because, it's kind of this kind of situation that makes us crazy, right? Because it's a kind of a, yes, you're right, because they are suffering, but at the same time, it's completely mad. First, I think there is a deep sense, I'm very sad, and I think we all should be very sad, that Jews in London feel now unsafe in our streets. Whether it's justified or not, I don't care. It's a matter of feeling. We're feeling unsafe. The fact is that some people in our open, liberal-minded city feel rejected and not having a space. To be fair to them, West London and Keshet UK were stuck in a sort of a conundrum. Either they decided to march and to say, you know what, there's no reason to be afraid, it's not going to be a big deal, there's no problem, and they would have been accused to side with those who accuse Israel of genocide. This would have happened, because let's face it, this will come out during the Pride March. Or they've been accused as well to refuse to condemn the action of the Israeli government. So how can you actually find a space there? Either you are pro-Netanyahu and you don't see the suffering of the Palestinians, or you are with the enemies of Israel against the Jews. I don't know how we can actually find a way, a compromise. It's a lose-lose situation. And honestly, I think the decision was a sensible one to withdraw this year from the march, because we never know what's going to happen, and it's not going to be forever. These things will subside at some point, and hopefully next year this will be forgotten. But I think that beyond that, there's a failure in the way, a certain way of thinking the world around us. The intersection of the plight of the Palestinians with the struggle of the LGBTQ community is real, but this intersection has led to the exclusion of a group that sits at a different intersection, anti-Semitism and homophobia. So what started with good intentions, and the good intentions are to side with those who suffer in our society, what started with good intention has become what we're seeing today, an atomized version of humankind where particular identities have taken precedence over an overall, all-encompassing narrative of being humans, of human suffering as a whole. So I would urge, Queer for Palestine, this group, to organize a Pride March in Ramallah. So you understand what I mean by that. In other words, if your views, if your narrative counts me out, then it's not right. You understand what I mean? If the views you're holding exclude me, then these views are not progressive, they are not liberal. If you're not able to write together a universal narrative that works for all of us, in which all components of humankind are represented, then we have failed. And I'm afraid at the moment we're failing. And the irony is, and this is really the irony of this, most of the Jewish LGBT community is very, very sympathetic to the plight of the Palestinians. So what's the political message of Pride? Because, of course, beyond the fun, beyond the parties, the music, Pride is actually a political statement. It is a statement about a minority that has reclaimed its rightful place in the society, that is still struggling to be accepted in certain corners of the world. It also shows that despite the goodwill, there is still much work to be done. This year's theme is "We are everywhere," and I think it's a very powerful thing to say. We are everywhere indeed. That's true, and we've been everywhere since the dawn of humankind. But this year, not all of us will be there with you to celebrate this day. You have alienated a part of the community by distorting and manipulating the conflict in a part of the world where, ironically, you would be fully accepted only by those you describe as arch-villains. The universal message of peace and acceptance that is at the heart of Pride, I think, has been lost this year. And that's really, really a shame. Okay, so...
Can I just say, you're saying about being safe here, can I make an appeal for everybody here to respond to the DFE consultation on relationships and sex education in school?
What's the DFE?
DFE, Department of Education,
Okay.
currently got a consultation out on sex and relationship education in school. It is on the DFE website. If you Google relationship, sex education, DFE consultation, they are trying to change the rules. And we don't know what will happen with the change of government, but the consultation is out, and we are looking at a potential reforming Section 28.
Oh.
And we are looking also at girls not being taught about menstruation until after the age of 9. We have between 10 and 20% of girls who have started menstruating before that age. So it's also about control of women's bodies. You do not need to be a teacher, you do not need to be a parent, you do not need to have an expertise to respond to the consultation. Please, as part of our celebration of Pride this weekend, you have till the 9th of July, please contribute to the consultation and state about the education for our children, and I mean all our children, because that will make a difference to the future of all of us.
Thank you. Could you circulate the link? Yes.
If anybody wants to come find me, I'll give you the link.
Yes, please, do it. Thank you.
We're sitting here in the retired civil servants corner, and we're just wondering why on earth there's a consultation going on during the general election period.
It was interestingly launched so the 12 weeks finishes on the 9th of July. It is continuing. It is one of a number of government consultations that are ongoing.
Okay, because then usually everything stops.
We also had a number of documents about, so the gender questioning non-statutory guidance was rushed forward and issued in the week before the general election.
Wow.
So there is a lot that has gone on for influencing policy, and these are documents that talk about gender ideology and so-called gender ideology. If you listen to the words of Penny Bergamot, you would have an idea that has gone to these documents. Please, we need to push back.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, René.
No, but you know, that's exactly what we're talking about tonight. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. Right, I think, I wanted to thank Rabbi Janet, because Rabbi Janet and Vince have decorated the energy hall and prepared some goodies for us to, because we nourish our brain, we also nourish our belly. So thank you for doing that for us today. We're going to go straight into the Aleinu now. So, oh gosh, garden party next Sunday at 2:30 at Ray and Linda Stone, and it's just next door over there. Yeah, not there, you're right. So please stand, we are on page... Oh, sorry, yeah, so sorry. No, please remain seated. Okay. Now please go ahead.
Well, I mean, there were two things, wasn't it? That was the ones that really happened. The poem by Kate Tempest, who is an extraordinary person, queer person living in London, an incredible performance poet. And we heard their poem, Hold Your Own. And I was kind of thinking, there's a couple of people that wanted to bring out, and Debbie Friedman, we were talking about Debbie Friedman, American Jewish songwriter, who, is so steeped in as a songwriter, giving them these two people with their creative energies that they put them into their work, into their communities, and how much they put themselves into their communities through their creative work. And with Debbie Friedman, particularly because she worked so much to put her music into the progressive world and came across the Atlantic. It's just travelled and been picked up and taken up, but she herself, it's a bit controversial. I had a kind of a discussion about what it means to say she herself never actually came out as a lesbian publicly. It was in her obituary. So, it's very, very moving to think of that. Very, very indeed. And I think that just as like you were saying, just as we're celebrating our pride and diversity, we also have to acknowledge the personal and collective struggles. You can't celebrate the pride without recognising the struggles and the deep personal struggles and the collective ones. That's part of our lives. So I think that's really important. And her Misha Bela is not the only famous songs of hers, but it's the Prayer for Healing, and it's a very, very well-known prayer that's been taken up, the setting of it. It's not her prayer, she's set music to it. And I think it would be quite moving to sing that. And you haven't got the words. Are they in the Siddur?
No,
they're in the Shiraz. Oh, well, there's only a few people, there's two here. I don't know, I just feel like we could sing that, and you can just sing along with it, or whatever. We've got two here. What page is it? Let's have a look. It just feels...
We use it quite a lot. It's possible.
Some people do, yeah. Not everybody, but some will. You will. definitely. So I think it'd be nice. Maybe we could just all sing that together, like whilst we, feel the fire, we recognise the struggle that's ongoing. It's ongoing.
Page.
Page 25, here we are. We don't know by now, Janet, but I think it would be a nice thing. So we don't have to stand up fine, we don't just sing it in a way. It's too original, but just sing it. I don't know. Are we sitting down? Or that's going to sing up to you? It doesn't matter, it's not a hymn, it's let's face it. Here we go. Page 25, where you go, everybody ready? Here we go. And maybe also just to say that I'm going to put but Brian, I want to find out that Brian Pascoe, we sent him, our very old Fuashka Market, wishing, to see him back at the choir, and there's Muslim mentioning him as well, probably watching the service, and everybody else, and anyone particular to mention before we go on. Yeah, of course. She's also our choir member singer. Anybody else?
And Darren.
What was that?
Darren,
What was the question?
she's getting much better. No, she had the hip operation.
Well, we'll give the reins to people we can. Yes, go. Okay, back to you.
Yeah. Okay. Alelu, page 520. Please stand.
Amen.